6 months of an internship. You don't want to take a day off, child. You got the wrong one. I've been around these French people too long. I'm gonna take my summers off. I'm gonna take my time off, and you should too. Hello, beautiful people. My name is Savannah. By the internet, I go by Savvy C, and welcome back to Savvy C Scoop. Today's video is based on a comment that I got from someone named Strategically Issa. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Forgive me if I'm not. And she commented on my jobs in Paris / France for native English-speaking students video and said the following. Hey, do you need to apply for a work permit? I have a long stay visa and I'm studying in Rennes and I am an American. Well, same as well. I'm studying in Paris. I'm here getting my master's at the American University of Paris. If you are new here, studying global communications. And earlier this year, for 6 months, I was interning at this French music streaming service called Deezer. Started in Paris and I was their brand copywriting intern. And through that experience, I was able to just learn the process of getting a work permit and what you do and don't need and things that I wish I knew and, had some help with beforehand. And so this video is just to, answer that question as best as I can. And, I don't have all the answers, but I can share my experiences firsthand with all of you, and hopefully, it helps to an extent. With this video, I'm going to break it down into just 4 sections. So the first will be your job hunt / acceptance of the job. Second will be the internship approval process. The third will be convention de stage, which in English is internship contract. And the fourth will be the, requested items that my employer asked of me and might ask of you, as well as like your first few days of work of just what things to do to make sure everything, irons itself out. As always, the timestamps will be in the description box and really just have this video work for you. So skip ahead and, find what does and doesn't work for you and speak to you in your situation. And we're just gonna get into this thing. So get your little notebook, iPad, get a little drink. You're gonna get into it. Yeah. First up is your job hunt / acceptance of the job, receival of a job offer, which hopefully you will get an internship offer. With my internship and my experience, I applied to it on LinkedIn. I found that they were looking for a native English speaker student that was based in Paris, that was familiar and had a background within communications, marketing, branding, journalism, etc. Et voilà, c'est moi. And I was able to check most of all the boxes. When you're looking for a job, looking for an internship, looking for an internship, I'll stop saying job. Be sure if you're unsure of your French level, like if someone asks you tu parles français and you're like, if it's not like, oh oui, mais oui, bien sûr, like it's not 100% signed, sealed, delivered, then play to your strength, which is being a native English speaker, assuming that you're American or from an Anglophone country watching this. Really leverage that and explain that is your strength and your experiences, because what I found when working for Deezer is that a lot of French people can speak English to an extent, but they're not fluent and it's not their native language. So they can only get to a certain point, but when it comes to like grammar or like customer facing jobs, customer service, etc. A lot of people in tourism, I guess, speak English to an extent, but it's to an extent, but you can really offer that, and that can be a huge asset to them. So really stress that. I applied to my internship on Friday, February 12th, heard back from them right away on Monday. So be prepared for a quick turnaround, perhaps, if it's on LinkedIn. And then I highly recommend to, when looking for jobs, to just really leverage your network, leverage social media, leverage school, leverage friends, really network and find someone who, is currently in the industry that you're looking at, or is in a job, or just left a job that you're interested in, etc. And you never know what just one, shoot your shot professionally could lead to. So I really recommend you do that. And then 2, also, if you end up finding someone like I did for my internship, I found someone who was a fellow, she graduated by the time I started my internship, but she went to AUP as well. And so she was able to just really put me on game, spill the tea, okay, and just tell me about what to expect and just what her experiences was like. And so I'd really recommend you do that. And as well, on the cherry on top of that, having that, background knowledge and someone else's experiences, you can get a reference that will really boost your application chances of, getting accepted and getting that formal offer. And 2, really quick, I'll just break down a few of the questions that I got while going through this process that you might get as well, trying to work in Paris as an American or just as a foreigner. The questions were, 1, are you able to work full-time, which 5 times a week, remotely with the option to come to the office once a week for 6 months? This was back in April when I started, so things have changed since then, but it might still be applicable to you. Are you currently based in Paris or France? Will you be able to provide a convention de stage agreement with your university, which I'll mention and talk about later in this video? And when is the earliest date you're able to begin this internship if chosen? And then if I said yes to those questions, I was able to provide time slots for their immediate availability to have a time slot. I was offered and given the position on March 1st, and then I had my first interview on February 26th. I said that reversed. The second section is all about the internship approval process. This section is from an AUP perspective since I'm a student there and I went through this process with that school, but I'm sure there could be some overlap if you go to another school within France, within Paris. But if not, again, the timestamps are in the description box below, so check those out and find what works best for you. Best overall advice I would give for this part of the process would be just to practice patience, stay really on your P's and Q's, and be in constant communication with your host school and your employer, just to make sure that everyone's on the same page with this process. I'm gonna get to the details in just a second, but there's a lot of back and forth, and that back and forth really starts at this part of the process. So basically, when it comes to legally registering an internship as a student in France, you have to formally declare it and document it. And being a legal worker, being a legal student intern in Paris or in France means that you pay taxes to the country and it's recognized by the government, the company hiring you, as well as your host institution, your school. For the American University of Paris, for that process, you need to fill out a 9-page form, because after all, this is France, girl, that's how this works. 9-page form just to really just outline what you're getting into, what you're looking for, what they're applying for. So I applied and filled out this form, and it asked me the following. So student 1 was student information, so just name, birthday, nationality, contact details, email address, phone number. 2, academic information, so my program, the credits I've had to that point, GPA, projected graduation date. Then 3, employer information, so the company name, its field of activity, the address of it, country, human resources, point of contact. 4, internship information, so just how I found the internship, did the Career Center help me, a description of the internship, what I'm getting into, learning objectives, and what I hope to gain and learn from this. Then 4 or 5, lost track, the supervisor information. So your supervisor is really important in this process. Supervisor and HR representatives are really important during this part of the process because they're in contact with your school and they're in contact with just making this whole process approved, signed to deliver. Next is, I think 6, registration of your internship. So the amount of credits you wish to register. I did the 8 credits for mine, as well as just, who your program director is and your faculty advisor. So that's the person who's gonna help you and be just your point of reference throughout this process. Then information for the health office to make sure you have health coverage while you're, going through this part, or going through, your internship. Make sure, God, knock on wood, nothing happens to you, but just in case something does unexpectedly, then you'll have that covered and you'll be good to go. So that's the breakdown of what that is like. And again, just make sure on your P's and Q's, you're really attentive and focused and you're just really in full communication. I recommend through this process, I'm a big Google Drive person, but however you keep track of things, through the be a notebook, online, etc., just have it all in one place and just have that reference, so you're not just every time that this comes up, you have to just go to 3 different places, 4 different places, on paper, online, etc., to find this information. Just have it all in one centralized place so that when you're going through the process, it can just be as simple and smooth as possible. Third section is all about the convention de stage, which in English is an internship contract. So this happens when you've already received a job offer, you've received an internship offer, you've been approved of your internship from your host institution, and now you need to just formalize the process. So this is like, everything just needs to come together. All these elements need to come into one and just really break down what you're getting into, what to expect, and what your legal rights are, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All the details are in this section. So I'm just gonna break down. I was gonna put mine on the screen, but I don't think I'll be able to cover my personal information successfully, or it'll just look like a bunch of black bars everywhere. So I thought to just break it down for you guys and define what it is. And then maybe if I find an example template, I'll put that on the screen. We'll see. No promises. I can't promise it. I can't promise you. So a convention de stage is required for all internships taking place in France and must be signed by your school, which, AUP for me, the student, and the host organization / your employer. So that's just a formal definition. I can't put that. The convention stipulates items such as the dates of the internship, weekly schedule, general tasks, and compensation. It also provides mandatory supplemental workplace insurance. The convention de stage will only be issued by the AUP's internship program office or your school's program office. Once the internship is officially approved by AUP or your host institution, it can take up to 2 weeks for the internship program office to organize a valid convention signed by all 3 parties. Again, that being yourself, the school, and your employer. The contract must be completed and signed by all parties before the internship begins. And in France, interning without student status and without an intern contract is illegal. No, it does happen. I have a few friends who either, if you're American like me, you can work remotely and have maybe a company in New York or LA or wherever pay you to your American bank account, and you just work online for them through social media management. Or I have friends who work here but get paid in cash, whatever. So it is possible to work illegally, quote unquote. But if you really, if you're here as a student, and if you're like me, your program requires you to have an internship or a thesis. I didn't want to defend a thesis, so I decided to do an internship. You need to do it legally, and this is the legal process to do that. So just keep in mind, this is an absolute thing to do, but kind of it is to an extent a necessary, I'll say necessary evil, but just something required so that this process can be done legally and everything's good to go. So I'll just break down really quick what a convention de stage is. Well, not really quick, it's 15 pages, but I'll do it as best as I can, as fast as I can. So it's 15 pages. I got both a French and English version, but when I just looked at it and now looking at it now, the French one obviously, is more official, since it's, I don't know if it's properly shared with the government, or at least just on record if they need it. So the first page just breaks down the credits that I'll be, asking for or looking for with my internship, the duration of it, my school's information, the company information, personal information, my faculty advisor's name, my manager at my internship, school coordinator, and the description of the internship. So just the most important pressing things on that first page. Then the second talks about the duration of my internships, the total hours I'll be working, as well as, the days. So Monday through Friday, I worked 9:30 to 5:30 with a 1-hour lunch break. It also broke down what days I'm not working. So I'm not working on the weekends. If I get, what else? Oh, salary perks. Oh, that's really important. Let me talk about that for a second. For my internship, it was based off of my education level, my degree level. So I'm a master's 2 student, so I was getting 1,300 euros a month. But if you can negotiate, definitely do. Always do that. But that was just, how was it? But I feel it's best for companies anyway, just to have a flat, regardless of who you are, where you come from, based on your education level, we're going to pay you this. So that's how much I got with Deezer. What else? Oh, perks, company perks. So I was able to get something, that I missed so much. My ticket resto, which gave me 38 euros a day to spend on food and groceries. So that was a clutch, love that. And then I got 50% reimbursed of my Navigo, which is, your transportation card to get to work. Then page 3, the purpose of the internship, why it relates to my degree, as well as on the AUP side of things, why an internship is required for my degree. It's basically just putting things in perspective and explaining the importance of putting what I learned into practice at school. Then page 4, this is when it kind of gets a little like not boring, but you have to read this like word for word. I do actually no, let me take that back. I do recommend reading it word to word, but if you don't, not into the world. This breaks down the taxes, your perks, and civil and social protection. So again, just like your rights as a worker, your rights as an intern, what does and doesn't come with that, what is and isn't allowed with that. Then page 5 details your absences and like what you can do to leave. For me personally, I think my company was just really cool, and I started in April, so just the health situation shifted significantly over my time. Not significantly, yeah, significantly. Things opened back up mid-May, and then we had the full summer, and then as I was leaving in September, they were talking about changing their policy to make people come back in person. So maybe I can't speak to what's to come. We can't predict the future because now the health situation changes all the time. But my school told me, I can say this now that I'm done doing the internship reporting. They said I had to take any days off. I said, girl, what? I said, I'm going to take a day off. 6 months of an internship. You don't want me to take a day off? Child. You got the wrong one. I've been around these French people too long. I'm gonna take my summers off. I'm gonna take my time off, and you should too, if you can. No, your results may vary. It's a classified schools if I have a guide. Your results may vary. But so yeah, that just breaks that down. And again, make sure you know your rights and what you can and can't do, and just have those things established before you sign to deliver. Then page 6. All just different signatures of people from AUP, myself, as well as the HR people at Deezer. Then page 7 breaks down just your proof of insurance, your attestation. And yeah, just covering all the basics. Make sure you're assigned to deliver, good to go on that. Page 8 as well breaks down proof of insurance. Page 9 as well breaks down proof of insurance. Insurance is important. In healthcare in France, it is, a key part of working here, and something like the country really takes pride in, I think. I don't know. Been only a little over a year. I think I know a little some. Page 10, again, defines what the importance of a student internship is, and the key just definition and why they stress the importance of it. Then page 11 breaks down how each party will interact with one another. So how the host institution and my employer will interact with each other, and how I, as a worker, will interact with the company, and just how the trifecta will work, that ecosystem will work. Page 12 is just a certificate of completion. So again, just making it crystal clear. We all signed our things. This is what the document entails, who signed it, when, everyone's contact information, etc. Then page 13 is just disclosures of exactly what you're agreeing to, your consent, things consequences if you change your mind, all that, yada, yada, yada. Then page 14, how to contact your company, how to contact your employer, how to request things from them, how to withdraw your consents, things like that. And then last, certainly not least, page 15, you got to the end, your receipts, your electronic receipt that you're assigned to deliver, you're good to go. Again, for this, just really make sure, this is the longest section by far. With this section, I really just recommend to make sure that, cross your T's, dot your I's. Really be just vigilant and mindful of what is to come with this contract. This is a binding contract, and you don't want to, have and agree to something that you don't want to do, or kind of cut corners or let them get one over on you. Really just read over and know your rights. And if you're unsure about it, ask your faculty advisor, ask maybe someone at your school, ask an immigration officer, etc., to help you through this process, because that's really important. So just get and make sure your convention de stage is signed, delivered, and good to go. And here we are at the 4th and final section. At this point, you have had your job hunt done, you've gotten an internship offer, congrats, really exciting. You've gone through the formal internship approval process with your school, and it's signed, delivered on that. And then your host institution, yourself, and your school have all agreed and signed on the convention de stage dotted line. Your internship contract is good to go. So now all that's behind you. Sigh of relief, thank God. We love to see it, love that for you. Now you have to start working, right? After all that you feel like you're doing, put some hours in, but that's just the beforehand. And now this section is all about your employer wishlist items / your first day of work / first week of work. So With this section, I just want to share what my employer asked of me in documents that I recommend you may or may not be asked of as well, but I think there could be some overlap and things just to have in mind. And again, like I mentioned earlier, with that one centralized area of all your information, have all these things in there, or at least readily accessible. So when they're asked for it, you can, upload it and share it, no problem. So the documents that were asked of me are as follows. First up, bank account details. So share your IBAN, IBAN, and or your BIC/SWIFT code. So BIC/SWIFT code. And this is just, get that direct deposit in. Depositing checks in France can be a bit tricky, especially now with all the Joanne the scammers running amok. It's taking a significant time to process checks. So get that information to them, especially a French bank account. That is key to living here, as I'm sure by now you've learned, or you'll learn quickly after you arrive that having a French bank account is significant and basically a mandatory living here. So just get your bank account information in. Then a copy of your ID card or passport. I recommend just doing passport. I think that's always just easy and direct and always gets approved. Then next, a copy of your work authorization and or a copy of your passport with the custom stamps. Next, copy of your last degree. So I just submitted and uploaded my bachelor's degree. But I guess just submit your high school or, I don't know, what is in the UK? Like secondary school, primary school? I don't know, sorry. School you went to when you were a teenager. Or if you're not getting your graduate degree. Then a good quality ID picture for the company's newsletter and the organizational chart. So for me, that was just like that picture when they announced, so we had this thing called weekly coffees. That was just a company-wide meeting we have on Zoom, and they just introduce a new employee each week. So that would be what that's for. Then a copy of your monthly and or annual public transportation subscription, since they refunded it up to 50%, or they refunded half of it, 50% to me. So I just uploaded my Navigo contract, which was great. Then a copy of your certificate of enrollment for French Social Security, if you have a Social Security number. If not, that's okay. I didn't have one. They just emailed me. The HR person was like, "Where's your Social Security?" I was like, "I don't have one. I'm American." She's like, "Okay, no problem. If you don't have Social Security, no worries, but they will ask for it. And if not, just tell them you don't have it. You're not a citizen, etc." And then privacy policy. So for that, just read over, and again, this depends on your company. Read over a document and agree to it. And then your first day of work. Congrats. I'm very proud of you. You made it. You made it. First day / first week of your job. I recommend highly to, one, get just a full, proper understanding of your job expectations. I think there can be a bit of a gap between what you see online, what maybe someone you reached out to told you, and then what actually happens. That's happened to me on a few jobs now, where it's just a bit like, hold up, I didn't understand the assignment. That was a little different. And so make sure you get a full understanding from your manager of what they were looking for you. Meet with your manager within those meetings. Again, have that talk, really be honest and frank, because especially if you're going to work there. I worked my internship for 6 months. If you're there for at least 3 months or more, you want to just have a relationship with them that is respectful, of course, and collaborative, but also one of honesty and vulnerability and truth, because you just don't want to walk on eggshells around someone that you're working with. Then next, I would say get right with IT, make sure everything at home was okay. I was really blessed with my internship to get a MacBook to work off of, a brand new one, a MacBook Pro. Was it a Pro or an Air? I forget. But the one with the touchscreen bar at the top. It was great. So get that, especially now with everything being online or online heavy, make sure you have all your IT stuff good to go. Then confirm everything with your commission de stage as well. So again, just make sure you're assigned to deliver on that. No issues, no problems. Everyone's on the same page, so that, you're not 2-3 months down the line and there's something missing and that could really jeopardize things. So really just make sure you're all good to go on that. And then lastly, ensure the money, the moolah, ya moolah, baby. Ensure your direct deposit, your ID, and your contact information is all good to go. And that's really what I recommend. And as always, just try to meet everyone on your team and get integrated as best as possible. Ask all the questions. There's no, I guess to an extent there is a dumb question. There is such things as dumb questions, but really not especially in the beginning when you're brand new to a job, And as a student as well, you know, there could be an age gap between you and your manager of like a decade plus easily. So, you know, really ask all the questions, and you can really bring up something that, you know, closed mouths don't get fed, basically is what I'm saying. Like, you have to, you know, say something. Don't be afraid to say that. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I know it was a bit on the lengthier side and a little dense at times with information, but I tried my best to really break it down for you and share everything I know and everything I experienced, so that when you go through it, it'll hopefully be a bit easier and a bit of a smoother process and transition. Thank you so much, Issa, for, hopefully again I'm pronouncing your name right, for commenting on that video and requesting this. I always look at you guys' comments and your DMs and actually really look forward to them and want to help and as best as I can and share the knowledge and experiences that I've had here in Paris, here in France thus far with all of you. So please continue to keep commenting or DMing me videos you'd like to see in the future outside of like my blogs or traveling videos, traveling content. And yeah, just best of luck going forward with your internship hunts and journey. You know, obviously with the world being what it is, as we're about to be done with 2021. Can you believe it? We're almost done with this year. Entering 2022. You know, the state of the world is a bit, you know, in flux and just a little bit crazy, but there still is so much opportunity out there, and I really feel confident and, you know, be rest assured that you can definitely find a job, find opportunity in France, in this country. You know, you're here for a reason, and I think you can definitely make it a reality, all right? And I hope this video helps you to an extent get that process underway a bit smoother, okay? As always, I'm sending my love to wherever you are and wherever you're watching this, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!